Tube, driver Karen Jordan has to overcome her fears.
I had probably 2 or 3 in like a couple of weeks beforehand where I had them pretend to jump.
And Brian has trouble at London Bridge.
Call the old building.
All right, come here.
Last year, more than 50 people threw themselves under tube trains. The staff at London Underground call it a one-under, and they have to deal with the fallout. Today, a suicide attempt at Earls Court is causing severe problems in the control room for operations manager Trevor Edmead.
This afternoon at 2:20, we had a person fall under one of our trains in Earls Court, platform 4. Fortunately for the person concerned, she was extricated alive, but she suffered major injuries as a result of it.
The emergency services have left, and now Trevor has to sort out the delay. The incident has left the service in chaos in the build-up to rush hour.
What's the late running like at the moment?
As you'd expect after one under.
Yeah, about half an hour, 40 minutes.
Steve, what's the gap between the last eastbound and that one coming up to Putney Bridge? Person under a train, you don't know what it is you're going into until you actually arrive at the site and see what it is that you're dealing with. We found a female in her 30s. We found her sitting upright between the train and the cable rump. She'd lost her right foot and her left index finger was missing, and she was in quite a lot of discomfort. We could see that she was in shock. We applied a tourniquet to her right thigh to stem the bleeding, and we made her as comfortable as we possibly could.
Although the victim wasn't killed by the impact of the train, she was still in danger of electrocution. The priority is to switch the current off as quickly as possible.
That's the only chance that the person's going to have if they're there, if they are actually being electrocuted at the time.
Ray, what's the late running like at Barking?
Absolutely horrendous on the ends.
No, it's not surprised because half of those were turned back at South Ken, weren't they?
More than half of the people who try to kill themselves under a tube train survive. Those who attempt suicide at stations with pits under the rails are much less likely to die.
You pulling that one back at Mansion House? Thank you. How many did you cancel from the depots? What's that? From each depot?
4 out of up instead of 3 out of each.
Right. Well, I'm going to end up with about 69 trains in service. I should have 76 trains in service, but obviously because of the knock-on effect of the incident we've had earlier on today has had on the railway, that's not going to be possible. So we just have to make do with what we got.
The highest number of one-unders happens at the 2 busiest stations on the network, Victoria and King's Cross. They're less common at London Bridge, but station supervisor Brian Valentine has witnessed 2 in his 28 years on the tube.
One that jumped under me was a man, and the other one was a young woman, 32. As the supervisor, I had to deal with that one. As the driver, I mean, if somebody else dealt with it, I just sat in the cabinet. And I was a lot younger then. Both of them affected me. The driver one affected me more. It's true that you can get used to this kind of thing, but it still affects you.
One-unders might be an occupational hazard for staff, but thankfully, most passengers will never witness one.
For your own safety, customers are advised to stand behind the yellow line marked on the platform floor. Your next northbound train is for all stations to High Bar. Customers for the Mill Hill East.
He's very good on this PA, and he calms the customers down. If there's a bit of a gap in the service, you won't see any frowns or arguments or anything. You'll keep them happy.
Safety, please stand behind the yellow line marked on the platform floor.
Hello, Darren.
All right, son.
Ticket Inspector Darren Smith covers the Jubilee and Northern lines. Today, he's looking for fare evaders at London Bridge.
Yes. You looking forward to today, are you?
Oh, yeah, mate. Yeah, I'll make up for it. Yeah. Do you want us to do whatever, yeah?
Yeah, yeah.
Just keep it out of the way.
No, keep in the way.
Oh, lads.
Darren has barely arrived when there's an incident between two commuters.
I know, son. I know. But you don't need this before work, do you? He punched me first, yeah? It's a bit of pushing and shoving to get through. I pushed you. Did you punch me or not? Okay. No, I've got knuckles in my back like that, right? It was a commuter rage, OK? Everyone's trying to get to work. They're banging into each other. You're in a rush. You're in the rat race, you know? They just needed to take a chill pill, do you know what I mean, and see the light. Yeah.
Moments later, Brian discovers a young man with an invalid ticket who doesn't seem to speak English.
He's got his own 2 weekly, no photo card.
Right. No, he's just produced a photo card, right?
Ah. Excuse me. Right. Don't start running away, Sonny Jim. Come back here.
He's just produced a photo card, right?
Don't run. Can you speak English?
I asked him for a photo card, and he said didn't have one. Then he goes in and I said, I keep card.
No.
Now the numbers here don't correspond with the...
Don't. Keep hold of him in the box. Call the old building.
All right, come here.
This young man here has presented himself to the barrier with a Zone 2 travel card and no photo card. We're in Zone 1 anyway. He's now produced a photo card, which I believe is different to the ticket he's got. He's now produced another ticket and he's also tried to run away. The police are on their way and hopefully deal with this chap. Do you want to bring him in the mess room?
I think he might freak out a little bit, Brian.
Well, that's all right, we can handle him. I've got a feeling he's going to do a run, and I don't want to start chasing people and rolling around on the floor with them.
No, I do.
As the wind blows, your train approaches. Do you feel the wind?
Darren is still struggling, but one of his colleagues has hidden talents.
Do you speak Cantonese? Cantonese, you speak?
He doesn't speak any Cantonese, so he knows a bit of Mandarin. 我的同学想知道了，你边間地方你入去啦？
去我地方。
係啊。
到南敦不利去，然後我就來南敦不利去火車站，我又買火車票。
Oh, here's the police now. Hello. Right, OK, we got this Chinese guy. He did try to make a runner from us. I didn't want to end up rolling around on the floor with the fella.
It's coming. All stations to high bar.
After giving it some thought, I've just decided that this guy's going to be freaked out enough, and he's genuinely scared now because the police have turned up. And to be perfectly honest, I just think that's enough. So I'm just going to charge him the fare that he should have paid today from the Elephant and Castle, which is £1.90. And I think he's learnt his lesson today, and it won't happen again.
Unfortunately, he didn't speak a dicky bird of English, so what little Mandarin I know, I sort of had a word with him, and it turns out he was trying to go to Brighton, coming from Elephant and Castle, and I think he was just probably a little bit scared because he had a few staff around and not really speaking much English, so that's why he might have tried to run. I had a bit of a thing for all things Chinese when I was younger, you know, just movies and the food, the culture, that sort of thing. Watching lots of badly dubbed kung fu movies, basically, and just picked up a little bit of language along the way. It's not a big deal.
There's a figure of £30 million bandied about, is what we lose in revenue. There's a few good pay rises in 30 million quid, isn't there? I think at this station we take £12 million a year.
At Earls Court, it's 3 hours since the suicide attempt, and the district line is gradually getting back to normal.
That's all right. We had 7 cancelled for the 1800. I'm still up in the control room. Yeah, and we had 1 for vandalism. OK, John. Bye.
A third of the service is virtually right time and in place, and a little bit more tweaking. Within another hour, we should be OK.
So, what's your late running like at the moment, apart from crack?
I'd say about 15 both rows.
15 both rows. Works for me, mate. Well done. Jeff, 15 both.
Our plan is working.
I gave the all clear on the incident at 7 minutes past 3, and 90 minutes later, we're still late running. It still takes a concerted effort by all service control staff concerned to get the service back right time.
At Golders Green on the Northern Line, train manager Ken Gibbard has a driver returning to work today after a 1 under.
You come in at 1 o'clock, mate. Yeah. Because I mean, there's if we need to, well, we've got to have a chat with you first, anyway, and then we can get that out of the way. How's the nipper, anyway? Yeah. All right then, we'll see you at 1ish, yeah? Okay then, mate. See you later. Bye. She sounded okay. So fingers crossed. Get her over the area and see how she reacts to that. And as I say, yeah, fingers crossed.
It's Karen Jordan's first day back. She's been off work for the last 3 months since someone tried to kill themselves by jumping under her train.
Well, May the 23rd, I had someone try and commit suicide. I'd only been on the train about an hour and he'd just done it.
The man was standing next to his wife on the platform at South Wimbledon when he jumped.
Where he was, but what we're going to do is Karen's going to go with an instructor operator for 2 days, get her confidence back, and then what we'll start is a gradual build-up process over the next 3 days. We'll start carrying off with Edgware and back, then Kennington's and back, and then finally the full circuit, so that she's got her confidence back and she can pick up her duties.
How are you?
All about seeing you.
Not only has Karen had to deal with the suicide attempt, but a month ago her father died. Today, she'll be accompanied in the cab.
Some of the time I'll be driving and some of the time the instructor will be driving. It's just purely first day back, get you back on a train and also with someone just to try and get your confidence built up a bit.
Operator instructor Kevin Fitzgerald will be helping Karen rebuild her confidence.
We'll be going through South Wimbledon where she had the 1 under and she doesn't actually want to drive through there, so today I'll be driving through and she'll just be on the front observing to see if, you know, anything comes back, any memories or...
Some people could literally be straight back on the train, have no effect. And others, yeah, unfortunately, it's... I mean, I have known people that they've just been unable to drive a train again.
Karen's partner Dan is also a train driver who works at Golders Green.
Because obviously it's the first time she's been on the front of a train for a long time. And you never know how you're going to feel until you actually sit in the hot chair and start playing with the controls and getting on with it.
It was easier to talk to him after the incident than it would have been if he was, say, a bank manager, because in you know, most normal jobs you don't have that associated hazard of people who do try and commit suicide.
I'm sure she'll be okay. She's a strong girl, good girl, so she'll be all right.
Oh my God, it is, isn't it? Calm down.
Although Karen received trauma counselling from London Underground's therapy unit, she's got no idea how she'll react being in the cab again.
Are you nervous?
I am actually. Yeah. Coming up to the afternoon, it's heading towards the evening peak, and you know the platforms are going to start getting busy, and that's going to be the most worrying thing when you've got people on the edge of the platform where it's busy. Just see how I get on.
Just play it by ear, just, you know. You don't want to drive, just say, it's okay.
Before I had that thing, I had probably 2 or 3 in like a couple of weeks beforehand where I had them pretend to jump, you know, a group of lads. And it really unnerved me then. It was almost like building up to it. Weird. Is that a train?
Yep, that's it.
Karen will have to put past events behind her if she's to return to Golders Green as a train driver.